Hello everybody, it is Melissa Lloyd with the Valley City Barnes County Public Library, and with me is
Sue Millender from NDSU Extension here in Barnes County.
And we are bringing you another Instantpot class, and today we are making cheesy sausage and potatoes. So all you good Germans out there, this is for you. What else should we know about the Instantpot?
Well, first of all, this is called a dump recipe, which means that we are literally dumping everything in here, putting the cover on, sealing it, letting it come to pressure, and voila, literally we're done. So the benefit of one of these recipes is that parents, you can come home, have everything set, dump, and in a half hour you'll have a full meal. Mm-hmm. It's cheaper and it's healthier. So the Instantpot is a beautiful, beautiful appliance because
she loves the Instantpot. Notice how she uses the word beautiful.
Because it's almost all dishwasher
safe.
Yep. So this is our inner lining. We always need to have the inner lining. This part is the only part that cannot go into the dishwasher.
Well, and it's super easy just to wipe off with like a damp cloth.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. This whole thing can go into the dishwasher. We have a rubber seal that can go in. I usually just pull this out. This is a vent cap. Pull that off, and then this comes off as well. So I don't put this in the dishwasher.
Don't put that in the dishwasher.
No.
But I mean, anyway, it doesn't look like it's hard to clean. You can just rinse it under hot, warm water.
Absolutely. There's one other piece that can go in the dishwasher, and this is a condensing unit. So if you do something like mashed potatoes in here with a lot of liquid, mm-hmm. the liquid will condense and go into here. I suggest that you rinse this after every time you use it because I have known people to leave it and then it gets moldy in there.
And so, because I don't know if my Instantpot has one of them, so not all of them have them. Because I don't recall ever seeing them.
So that's a good point. This is called an Instantpot, but it's just one brand. They're actually called multi-function pressure cookers. Okay. You cannot can in this. You can probably water bath, but you cannot pressure can in this.
Yeah.
This is a pressure cooker, and there are a lot of them on the market. This one just happens to be the Instantpot brand.
Okay.
So let's start dumping.
All right.
Okay, so the first thing we're going to dump is our chicken broth. You can use low sodium chicken broth. You can use chicken bouillon if you would like. So she's just simply dumping that in. Then we're going to take our potatoes. We've got 1.5 pounds of peeled and cubed russet potatoes. You probably can use reds as well. Russets are just a drier form of potato.
Okay.
So this is a moist cooking technique, so you always have to have water in there, or chicken broth, or some sort of liquid. So we started off with the chicken broth, of course.
Otherwise, if there's no liquid, what bad things happen?
Yes, it'll actually, what will happen is you'll end up with a burn notice on here. And right here, when we start it, you're going to see that this is a timer, but it'll say burn.
Okay.
And that will set you back a long time because you have to take your pan out and scrape the bottom and make sure there are not any bits and pieces on it. Right. So this is not something that you can use in lieu of an air fryer.
Okay.
Although I do have an air fryer cover that I can put on and make this into an air fryer. But with this cover, it's a moist cooking technique. So other things that are wonderful in here are things like pork loin that you want to just really have a moist meat and you shred it.
Because pork can get really dry when you're cooking it.
Yep.
And so it's really hard to have pork turn out really moist and tender.
Yep. Or shredded beef is wonderful in here. Beef stew is great. Anything where you take a tougher meat and you put it in here, it will turn out tender to the tooth. Right. Really amazing.
And what's different is this because you could do that with a slow cooker, but that takes all day long to cook to get it to that nice fall apart tender stage. Whereas this is a short cooking method, so like half hour, 45 minutes. Yep. Sometimes not even, and you'll get that tender pork loin.
Right, because it goes under pressure, and then it speeds up the cooking process. So we've got our potatoes in, and now we've got some sausage, just 12 ounces of sausage. I've used every kind from kielbasa to Polish sausage to brats, whatever.
These are just sausage that I found over. It's smoked, just smoked sausage. You can use country sausage, or because my parents make their own sausage because they're old Germans, and so I've used that pork sausage that they've made in that recipe, and it turns out great. So And then a bag of frozen corn.
Frozen corn. That reminded me of what I was going to say. So in a slow cooker, for food safety purposes, you cannot put anything in there that's frozen. So if you wake up in the morning and you're like, oh, I want to throw in chicken breasts into my slow cooker and just let them cook all day, what happens is the internal temperature stays in the danger zone between 140 and 40 too long, and you end up with bad bacteria growing.
Mm-hmm.
But with this one, you can put frozen chicken breasts in. And might take 12 minutes and you've got your chicken breasts perfectly done to temp.
So, I mean, so like if you use thawed chicken breasts, it would only take like half that time?
Yep, about 6. Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, so fully frozen chicken breast, it'll take 12 minutes to cook.
Mm-hmm.
And
So
they,
you can just
and they're
put
tender and moist.
Yep. So you just put a little water in, put my trivet in, put my breasts on top of that, let her go for 12 minutes.
There you go.
And there you go, right. Okay, so now let's put some seasoning in here.
Okay.
So you're gonna put in, what we have in here is salt and pepper.
And garlic powder.
And onion powder. Yep.
And that just gets sprinkled.
Yep, you're just gonna sprinkle it on. Okay, there you are. You're gonna put that on.
So then there's an arrow right here and it says open on one side and close on the other.
Probably the hardest part of this whole process is figuring out how to get the lid on. Voila. Good deal. Now there's a lot of different ways these seal. We're gonna seal it for pressure. Some, like I have at home, you actually take this knob and press it one way or another. There's a little note on here that says seal and vent. We want to seal it. This particular one just, voila, magically does it on, but we do have to set the timer.
Right.
So you're going to press pressure cook. Perfect. And get it up to 3 minutes.
And it's already at 3.
Perfect. And now we're just going to let it get to pressure. It'll do its number, and then we're going to do something called a slow release.
Okay.
Which means we aren't going to deal with it at all.
Okay. So
we
what's
are
the
just
so it's going to come up to pressure, and then the timer's going to go off from the 3 minutes, and then we're just going to let it sit.
and it'll go down. So 3, 2, 1,
right.
and it's going to go down. Then it's going to start going up. It just means it's keeping it kind of on low, and it's slowly releasing the pressure. You'll see some steam coming up. And then after about 5 or so minutes, we're going to quickly release the steam.
Okay.
And then we're going to add the cheese and the sour cream and maybe some cornstarch. And
See, it'll thicken up, and we'll
Yep.
show you what it looks like, and then you'll see us eat it,
and we'll love it.
and it's good. It's delicious. So.
Right.
All right, so we're gonna let it come up to pressure.
Okay.
So it's been 3 minutes, and the thing went off, and so we've been letting it sit for about it says 12 minutes, and so now do we need to release it?
Yep. Let's just see if it's down. It isn't.
It's not down.
Nope, because that's safety. It won't open if it's still got pressure in here. So
Okay.
let's depressurize by pushing that down. Now, like I said before, some you'll have to like open the vent.
Mhm.
Some, in this case, you're gonna push it
All
down.
right. So like back here is this
Yep.
little tiny. It looks like a little teardrop. It says press. So I'm gonna press it.
Yeah. Now, I always keep my Instantpot underneath the hood of my stove and then turn my fan on.
Okay.
Because I don't want to wreck my cupboards, right? This is probably far enough away from the wall where we're not hurting it, but you definitely don't want it underneath your cupboards.
And I can smell the food. I can smell it.
Uh-huh.
Feels good. I can smell the onion and the garlic. So if your kids don't like onion and garlic, don't let them smell this.
Okay, so we're gonna let the pressure come out, and you can hear it slowly going down.
the little metal
You're gonna
thing
hear a
is-
clip.
Still up. Just
Yep.
a touch.
And you're gonna hear well, if we listen close, it's gonna go down pretty soon. This little metal piece, it'll tell you when it's released all the pressure.
No, I've had ones that, I mean, even when you release the pressure, if there's a lot of moisture, it'll spit. But it doesn't, I mean, as long as you keep your hands away from it, it's not gonna do anything.
Sometimes you can put like a dishcloth over the
Oh,
top
okay.
to absorb that moisture.
Right.
Which is what I do, otherwise you're right, it can spew like
Mhm.
if I make mashed potatoes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just heard it click. I don't know if you guys heard it click.
Okay, now let's open it up. Perfect. Great, now that's all the condensation. In this one, we've got that handy holder there. Okay, the
All right.
next step is,
Let's look at it before.
okay, remember we just dumped, we did not stir this.
Right, so this is all what it looks like after it's been released. And
Yep.
we haven't stirred anything, and now
Now
she's
we'll
stirring
stir it up.
it.
Potatoes are done
Yep,
perfectly.
you can see they're breaking up. This sausage is all cooked. Corn's all cooked.
Beautiful. You see all that liquid in there?
Yep.
We're gonna thicken that up.
Okay, we're gonna thicken that up.
Yeah.
All right.
So we're gonna put in some sour cream. Good job. I'm gonna put in some cheese. Good job. There we are.
Stir
And
it.
she's gonna stir it all up.
And this is, it's a little warm, so I'm not gonna hold on to it too much. This is a really good winter meal because there's hearty potatoes and nice sausage and cheese and sour cream, and it's gonna stick to your ribs.
So this is what I did. I took some cornstarch and I added an equal amount of water. So in this case I had 2 tablespoons of cornstarch, which is a thickener, and then I have 2 tablespoons of water. Now the trick is I used cold water.
Right.
If you use warm water, you're gonna get lumpy.
Right. So whenever you're
So-
making a cornstarch slurry, which is that's what it's called, is always use cold water. I have made that mistake
Yep.
many times.
So now she's gonna dump in this cornstarch slurry, and it's gonna thicken that liquid up.
And was it supposed to be on saute?
It doesn't have to be.
Oh, it doesn't have to be on saute? I thought it said it had to be on saute, but
Should just thicken it up. You probably can. So what Melissa's referring to, you see all these buttons here? There's a lot of buttons. We use the pressure cook button. I have said before I use the yogurt button. Love making yogurt in here. The other one that I use consistently is the saute button. The saute button is just simply like a burner. So if we want, we can turn the saute button on. There we are. And now it's going to heat this up.
yeah, I
We
mean,
don't have to,
yeah,
but we
'cause it's-
certainly could.
it was thickening up, right? I mean, it almost started to thicken up immediately after I added the cornstarch.
Yeah,
so it thickens up really
yeah,
nicely.
it does.
Almost looks like a
Chowder.
yeah, like a chowder, like
Mhm.
a sausage chowder.
Yeah, I think so. That's
So-
the way I always like to think of this particular meal is. There we are.
Yeah. So let me grab the camera and I'll show it real close.
Okay.
Oopsie. So yeah, it's all nice and thick, and it is ready to eat.
Yeah. I'm gonna pull. There we go.
Yeah. Looks really good.
There you go. You get a little bit. There we go.
I want to taste
Give it a whirl, Melissa. It's gonna be really hot. Mm.
Well, and the thing is, the potato. There's still chunks of potatoes, but like the potatoes have broken down and kind of turned into like this kind of a stew.
Yep, it's like a little chowder. Mm-hmm. It's
Too
really hot.
I can't eat it.
Too hot.
It's too hot.
But it is delicious.
It is delicious. Yes, I've had it before, and this is one of my favorites so
What
far.
kid doesn't like corn, potatoes, and sausage?
Yeah. So you've got meat and carbs and vegetables, and it's creamy and it's warm. So on a really cold winter's day, it's
Put
a
it
really
with
good
a
meal.
yeah. You can put it with a nice whole grain bun. It'd be delicious.
Mm. Yes, that's super good. So
There we go.
that was super easy. It took hardly any time at all. Little bit of prep work with the potatoes and the sausage, but otherwise it was super easy, and it was a dump meal. So we will have this recipe posted along with the video on our YouTube channel. And I don't think there's anything. Do we have anything else we want to say?
I think we're
I think
out.
we've done it. We're done it. All right. So thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye.